From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
A Merry Christmas, and tonight, time to be more cautious. Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 tells Nigerians, insists passengers from UK and South Africa must present travel permits before entry. Governors of Lagos and Plateau states test negative for COVID-19. Sanwo-Olu says he had a difficult bout. Former PDP spokesman Olisa Metu walks home from prison with crutches after appeal court orders his retrial for money laundering trial that lasted 4 years. And UK and EU agree to a historic trade deal following talks that had been deadlocked for months.
And Merry Christmas. On Business News tonight, respondents affirm optimistic outlook on the economy in January 2021 in latest business expectation survey released by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Compliments of the season on Sports News tonight. Africa gets 6 qualification slots for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup to be jointly hosted by Australia and New Zealand.
Well, beginning with the rising cases of COVID-19 and the new strain in some countries. Now the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has introduced new travel requirements for passengers coming into the country from the United Kingdom and South Africa in order to prevent the importation of the new strain of the virus, which has been reported in the two countries. The national coordinator of the task force, Dr. Sani Aliyu, stated this at a briefing in Abuja today, that effective Monday, December 28th, passengers from the two countries will now require a permit after filing and filling an online portal before they will be allowed to board. Though these and more are part of the decisions taken today at the resumed sitting of the PTF.
Members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 arrived at the conference hall to give updates on the national response to the pandemic. The recent rise in the number of cases in the country appears to be a major concern for the task force. But perhaps of more interest is how to prevent the importation of the new strain of the virus, which has been reported in the United Kingdom and South Africa.
Specifically for the UK and South Africa, the PTF has met and we've decided that additional measures will be required to ensure the safety of our citizens. So effective from 0001 hours on Monday the 28th of December, all passengers coming into the country from the UK and South Africa on direct flights must use the Nigeria International Travel Portal to register, fill in their health questionnaire. They must upload a negative COVID-19 PCR result with a validity of not more than 5 days, and they must pay for a COVID PCR test at day 7 of arrival in country. When you are leaving UK or South Africa, you need 2 documents that you have to present to the airlines. The first document, which we already have, is a negative COVID-19 PCR result. The second document is a permit to travel document, which we use to refer to as the QR code.
The numbers of infection and fatality among young people continue to rise in Nigeria, just as more inbound passengers test positive to COVID-19.
We've continued to see a significant increase in the number of cases across the country. Over 50% of our cases are young people aged 21 to 40. So we're watching this trend very carefully. It really indicates where transmission is happening in our country and what is driving transmission. So we have to bear that in mind, especially at this point in the year.
Last week, the number of inbounds passengers increased to 20,208 against 15,805 the previous week. 270 passengers tested positive after 7 days against 129 that tested positive the week before.
So far, Nigeria has recorded over 80,000 cases of COVID-19 from the 912,114 samples tested. The country has also lost over 1,200 people to the virus. The chairman of the task force urges states across the country not to close down the isolation and treatment centers.
In 2021, it's vaccines plus MPIs. As we make progress on this MPIs plus vaccine issue or phase, I urge the state governments not to close down their treatment centers. Rather, they should keep them running efficiently and smoothly because the cases of infections are rising.
The numbers of COVID-19 infection in Nigeria slowed down a few months ago, but the country is currently witnessing a spike. And as the festive season begins, the task force cautions on the need to take personal responsibility and get protected against the virus.
Meanwhile, here in Lagos, the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has recovered from COVID-19 and tested negative for the virus. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who has been describing his bout with the virus as moderate, reiterated the need to observe the laid-down COVID-19 preventive measures and submitted to a test as soon as symptoms appear. The governor is asking all establishments to adopt a no-mask, no-entry policy and says he will bring the full weight of the law to bear on those found flouting the COVID-19 rules. He also said there will not be room for crossover service in Lagos.
Regarding my own personal experience, I tell you there are no two experiences. It's different from every one person. I had a big bout, I must tell you. It was not mild. I was not asymptomatic, it was more than asymptomatic. So I felt it. All of the things you will feel, headache, throat, cough, loss of everything, tiredness. So I felt it. Including looking at an oxygen, in front of me. So it's real. Once you feel unwell or something, please shout out. Because what we're hearing is that people are hiding their status. Don't hide it. Don't move away from people and you are having it and you're not telling it. Please, for the sake of your loved ones, for the sake of people that you're protecting, come out, let people know. And so that you can isolate and you can get treatment. The curfew that has been set by NCDC, PTF, it's still active. From 12 midnight to 4 a.m., there is a national curfew, and that has to be respected. There are no night vigils in any form. The instructions are there. All of the restrictions are still in place that has been set by PTF and also Lagos State Safety Commission and all of the rules that have been set. So there are no vigils anywhere. I mean, this is just one Christmas. We will have several Christmas. So please, you can have your prayers at home.
Meanwhile, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State also says he's now free of the COVID-19 virus. This is coming exactly 1 week after he tested positive and immediately went into isolation on December 17th. He's, however, reiterating that COVID-19 is not a death sentence, as early detection helps redress it and reduce chances of death. Meanwhile, the Edo State government says it is worried about the second wave of coronavirus pandemic, which could be more serious than the first outbreak if not managed properly. The state governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, has therefore announced the reintroduction of COVID-19 preventive measures, including social distancing and a curfew from midnight to 4 a.m., except on December 31st, 2020.
Government has decided to reintroduce the following measures in Edo State to limit the spread of the second wave of COVID-19, particularly during this holiday period. The wearing of face masks is mandatory in public places. There should be a drastic reduction in the number of people attending religious, political, and social gatherings in any one place. People are advised not to patronize or enter any public facility without hand wash stations, which are provided with soap and running water. All schools in the state will remain shut until January 18, 2021. In line with the federal government directive, we have now adjusted our curfew to begin from 12 midnight to 4 a.m. daily, except on December 31st, 2020.
It's Christmas Eve, a Christmas season if you like, and the president wants Christians to latch on to the hope that comes with the Christmas celebration and reinvest trust in his administration's determination and unwavering commitment to restore peace, security and prosperity to the country. According to President Muhammadu Buhari, the Christmas season represents joy, peace, hope, love, goodwill and imminent salvation, worthy values which Jesus' advent symbolizes. The president's statement reads in part, "I wish to enjoin fellow compatriots to appropriate the hope that comes with Christmas and reinvest trust in this administration's determination and unwavering commitment to restore peace, security and prosperity to our dear country." He says these are values needed in our country at this time when we're confronted with diverse challenges like rising spate of armed banditry, kidnappings, insurgency, economic recession and upsurge of COVID-19 infections. Speaking further on the security situation in the country, President Buhari reiterates that the federal government will continue to provide the needed support within available resources to members of the armed forces and security agencies as they confront threats to citizens. He made particular reference to the rescue of the schoolboys, which he says will remain a milestone in the annals of the country. Meanwhile, the president says he would not host dignitaries to the usual Christmas homage this year, and he is urging everyone to adhere strictly to the non-pharmaceutical prevention guidelines. It's still the most wonderful time of the year, and what better way to celebrate than with family and friends? But that sometimes may require some travel plans. Our correspondent, Dari Idowu, went to major transportation hubs in Lagos. He reports that COVID-19 may have its effects, but not enough to stop people traveling for the holidays.
Lagos traffic knows no season, and to say the roads are busier now is an understatement. But this is more about the holidays than the state's signature gridlock. Our first stop is at the Interstate Travel Park in Ojota, where regard for COVID-19 protocols seem non-existent. Passengers couldn't be bothered. The hiking fare is more of a concern.
Before now, we just pay like 3,000 to 5. There may be, depend on the location to the place, like kilometer or there. But recently, now you see they're calling 8,000.
Rail travel is gradually gaining ground in Lagos, where commercial operation to some neighboring states started some weeks ago. Here in Ebutemeta, hours before the scheduled travel time to Ibadan, passengers check in with their luggage. Dr. Okolo is not a first-time passenger here, but taking the train for holiday travel is a new experience for him.
Fortunately, I've been on the train before, the week they started, and that's why I'm back here, because the experience has been pleasant. It's very encouraging. I'm glad we're having more people turning out now, and I'm sure by the time people get to know about the comfort and about the services available, we'll have more people, and it makes life a lot easier. I commute between Lagos and Ibadan frequently, and the expressway can be a tension-packed experience.
The plan was actually to go by road initially, but I thought, oh my goodness, I don't want to go through any discomfort, and the train is going to take 2 hours and a few minutes. Before I know it, I'll be in Ibadan. So I just figured, look, let me change my mind, and then you just use the train. So yeah, I'm excited because it's also my first time using the train in Nigeria. I wanted to see what that's like, considering that we don't really have this mode of transport.
Airports, train stations are bustling as holidaymakers are traveling to different parts of the country for Christmas. But officials around here say the airport is not as busy as usual, as some may not be comfortable traveling yet. but there are protocols in place to ensure the safety of travelers.
Uchenna just returned from Turkey and now transiting from Lagos to Owerri. He's cut down the frequency of his travels, but home for Christmas.
Down in Istanbul, before you enter Turkish airline will carry you, have to have your COVID-19 test. Even though down here in Lagos, when we arrived, they told us you have to register. After registration, you have to, they ask you the state, your address, everywhere where you are going to.
As Nigerians celebrate Christmas amid concerns of a second wave of COVID-19, there are also fears that the federal government may impose further restrictions to contain the spread of the virus. But in the meantime, these travelers appear to be keen and enjoying the moment. Dari Ido, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, security of lives and property during the festivities remain a major concern. We'll be joined by a former Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Adirinle Shinaba, to discuss this. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Time to be more cautious. Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 tells Nigerians, insists passengers from UK and South Africa must present travel permits before entry. Governors of Lagos and Plateau states test negative for COVID-19. Sanwo-Olu says he had a difficult bout. Former PDP spokesman Olisamitu walks home from prison with crutches after appeal court orders his retrial for money laundering that lasted for 4 years. And UK and EU agreed to a historic deal, a trade deal following talks that had been deadlocked for months. Staying with the Christmas spirit, prices of food items have increased in the nation's capital, Abuja, as residents shop for the holidays. At the Wuse Modern Market in central part of the city, residents are making last-minute shopping for the Yuletide. Most motor parks in the city are also experiencing low turnout of passengers as transport fares have been increased.
It's a few hours to Christmas, and business activities at the Wuse Market is a bit slow compared with the previous festive periods. Few buyers are doing their last-minute shopping. This woman, who specializes in the sale of foodstuffs, complains about wholesales.
Since all these days, we have not seen anything as if they're celebrating anything, just like under normal days.
So no customers?
They are entering gradually.
Prices of food commodities such as rice, beans and maize have also increased. A bag of rice, which used to sell for 18,000 naira in December last year, now sells for between 28 to 31,000 naira.
In the last 3 months, we bought chicken at the rate of 2,005, but now chicken is 5,000 naira.
At the Jabi Motor Park, some passengers complain about an increase in transport fare, while some drivers who ply longer routes are also complaining of low turnout.
The flow is not there like other years. You know, the current fuels, Wahala, hold up in Lokoja and the rest, COVID-19, that kind of restrict people from traveling. They do come, and when they hear the price, they go back.
The transporters, the drivers, the owners, they have to increase the transport fare to 15,000 Siena. Then bus is 13,000 naira. But some people are collecting 15,000 naira. That is the reason why you can see there's a lot of a hike of transport fare. And if you see around this very place, you can see that every place is scanty, no passengers.
I was told that Ekiti State is 7,000, so it was a shock. As against 1,000, 1,005, 2,000 in the recent past. Yes, so 7,000 is a whole lot.
The transport fare is not fair. It's 2,500 from here to Mina. Before you travel like from here to Mina, highest 1,015.
The increase in prices of food items and livestock has become the usual practice during festive seasons, and the year 2020 is no exception. Nigerians are, however, hoping that the reopening of the borders, as well as the plan by the government to reject its policies, may be a solution to the challenge of price increase.
Security issues now. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has directed all Assistant Inspectors General and Commissioners in charge of zonal and state police commands nationwide to provide round-the-clock, watertight security arrangements and proactive high-visibility patrols in all the states of the Federation and the FCT. Operational assets of the force are also to be deployed on major highways, at airports, railway stations, recreational centers, motor parks, places of worship, and financial institutions. Mr. Adamu warns that acts bordering on indiscipline, extortion, and intimidation of travelers and other road users will not be condoned. Amid all the preparations for the Christmas and concerns for safety of Nigerians during the festivities, we have joining us to examine these issues a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adirili. Mr. Adirili Shinaba, you're welcome to the news at 10. Thanks for joining us, and compliments of the season to you.
Same to you.
And recently, the Department of State Services, we learned, raised alarm over plans, they said, by some unscrupulous elements to carry out attacks during these festivities. How should these, threats such as this be handled?
I think a threat such as this has to be handled with all the seriousness it deserves. Because when you receive such threats, you cannot treat it with kid gloves. More so that we had in the past, we had experienced things like this, like the Christmas Day bombing in Niger State, Suleja to be precise, where a church was attacked on Christmas Day. So with that precedence, we cannot toy with the information that is coming out from the state security services. It's very important, and it's better for us to work on it than for us to say, oh, we can dismiss it with a wave of hands. It's just an information, it may not come. It's better for us to work and it does not come than for us not to work and it comes to pass.
And I want to talk about the working, excuse me, the working part. The Inspector General of Police saying he has deployed men, to major highways, to airports and so on. It's not just about deploying men, right? So the most important thing is a strategy in place.
Yes, normally when Christmas is approaching, there is always an upsurge in crime. But the one we are having the information now has to do with terrorism, bombing, suicide bombing, and all the likes. So it means the deployment has to do, it must be all-encompassing. We must have high visibility of police personnel. Because after the EndSARS, you will discover that the policemen withdrew into their shell, and naturally so. But you can now see that they are coming out gradually. Police patrols are moving around the streets. Some areas, we are now seeing police presence, unlike what it was some weeks past. So the EOD, Explosive Ordnance Department of the Police, has a very big role to play in this deployment the IG is talking about, because they are specifically in charge of bombs, explosives, and other devices.
Yeah, and there's also a call for citizens to be on the lookout, for some of these possible attacks. How well should ordinary Nigerians such as myself, how well should we be prepared? What are we doing to be prepared?
Well, security is everybody's business, and what is expected of ordinary citizen is to watch movement of people, strange movement, strange people in your neighborhood, in your community, within the place you live or work. These are things you have to observe. And once these observations are made, the best thing is to pass it on. I think the police have some lines, dedicated lines, that people can call and pass this information to them.
Mr. Adirili Shinaba, thank you again for joining us on the News at 10. Security, as you said, is everybody's business. We wish you very happy celebrations, you and your family.
Thank you very much. I wish you the same.
In other news, a former National Publicity Secretary of the opposition People's Democratic Party, Olisa Metu, has been released from the Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja after about 10 months of serving a 7-year jail term handed on him for money laundering. Pictures of Mr. Metu leaving the correctional center were shared on Twitter by a PDP chieftain and former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose. Mr. Metu was charged with 7 counts of illegally receiving monies to the tune of 400 million naira from the office of the National Security Advisor under Colonel Sambo Dasuki. On February 25, 2020, Justice Okunabang of the Federal High Court convicted and sentenced him to 7 years in prison. He, however, appealed the judgments in the appellate court and secured a judgment which faulted the ruling of the lower court and ordered his retrial. He was arrested in January 2016 by the EFCC. And when the news at 10 returns, respondents affirm optimistic outlook on the economy in January and latest business expectations survey by the CBN. We'll have more in business news. Welcome back to the news at 10. The Nigerian Air Force has increased the number of aircraft in its fleet with the procurement of 2 new Mi-171 combat helicopters to boost the counter-terrorism operations and banditry in the country. Speaking during the induction of the 2 helicopters at the Air Force Base in Kaduna State, President Muhammadu Buhari, who joined the event virtually, reiterates his administration's commitments to tackling the Boko Haram insurgency and other forms of criminality threatening the security and sovereignty of the country. On his part, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, expressed optimism that with the procurement of the 2 additional fighter helicopters, the last days of the enemies of the country are near. He explains that the unprecedented acquisitions of the new platforms have had game-changing impact on the Nigerian Air Force capacity for training and operational effectiveness. Former agitators in the oil-producing Niger Delta region have restated their commitment to the success of the presidential amnesty program for the development of the region. They made this declaration at a meeting with the interim administrator of the amnesty program, Colonel Milan Dikio, in Agadag Baobon in Eseldo local government area of Ondo State.
In this hall are stakeholders and ex-agitators from the 9 oil-producing states of the Niger Delta region for an interactive peace-building session with the interim administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Colonel Milan Dikio.
Today, we are proud to say we have produced pilots, we have produced doctors, engineers in this program. So the amnesty program for us is the gift that the Nigerian state has given to us.
The meeting is aimed at ensuring sustainable development in the region, with stakeholders seeking ways to put an end to criminal activities such as piracy and kidnapping.
We don't need all those interface people. We are here. This is the leadership. Anytime you need us, call Boilo. Call us. We'll call ourselves and work with you.
For the administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, the development of the region is paramount.
Anybody who has eyes to see, entering this place will know that somebody has done something here. I doff my hat.
Thank you, sir.
You have done well.
Yes, sir.
These are the kind of things I want to see. And so, going forward, I am looking out for those who are not just talking, but who are doing something. And we will put our energy behind them.
The meeting also provides an opportunity for the ex-agitators to present their demands and opinions on the way forward for the Presidential Amnesty Program to ensure that peace is maintained in the region.
Meanwhile, the governor of Abia State, Okezekwe Azu, has commended his River State counterpart, Nyesom Wike, for his commitment to development and service to humanity. Governor Ikpeazu made the comments during the commissioning of the reconstructed Accra Road in Port Harcourt, now renamed Chief Orobule Adele Road by Governor Wike. The new roads link rural communities to the state capital to enable farmers and businessmen connect with markets in urban centers.
Everybody call up
It's day 4 and the climax of a series of road commissioning that started on December the 21st in Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State.
His Excellency, you are excellent in the project.
The fourth installment is the inauguration of the reconstructed Accra Base Road, Rumo Lumini, which leads to the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder in Obiako local government area. And the governor of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu, is here to do the honors. Governor Ikpeazu hails Mr. Wike's doggedness and transformational drive. He says he's proud to be associated with a performing leader who demonstrates commitment to his electoral promises by giving a better outlook to the oil-rich state.
When you see a governor deploy rigid pavement and contemplate asphalt on rigid pavement, it expresses love, it expresses commitment, it expresses deep concern for not only the people of today, but the next generation of Rivers children.
For Governor Wike, Nigerians are looking to a PDP leadership in the next election cycle because of their performance at state levels.
PDP is a party Nigerians want. No matter all the intimidation, it will not work. We are men of character. We are people, when we say something, we stand by whatever we have said, not on pecuniary interest. Not on pecuniary interest. If I was that kind of governor, I know how many times people have tried to woe us. We say, no, we cannot be wooed. We are here, we are here. We started from with PDP, we end up with PDP.
To the glory of God Almighty, I so declare, in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The inauguration of the now Chief Oragbule Adele Road, as pronounced by Governor Wike, brings to 9 the number of roads commissioned for use in 4 consecutive days.
Finally, we'd like to thank his
Business News is next. Here's Anne Mawodo.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Amarachi. Firms in Nigeria have affirmed an optimistic outlook on the macro economy from January 2021, and that's according to the December Business Expectation Survey released by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The respondent firm, made up of small, medium and large corporations from a sample size of 1,050 businesses across the country. According to that survey, which was conducted online this month, the overall confidence index on the economy from the month of December was pessimistic as minus 15.2 index points, but the outlook for January is positive with a confidence index of 29.4. Respondents were also optimistic about the overall volume of business activities and employment outlook for the next 6 months. The fourth winner of the Trophy Lager Honorable Promo to Togbayi has now emerged. He is Anyanwu Bill Gates Chidozie, a resident of the FCT. He has been rewarded with 1 million naira from that promo, which was held in Lagos. The promo is designed to reward consumers of the premium lager brand across the country with lots of airtime and cash prizes ranging from 5,000 naira to 1 million naira. According to International Brewers PLC, brewers of Trophy Lager beer, more millionaires are expected to emerge in the weekly draws. Consumers are also encouraged to participate in the promo by checking under their favorite trophy beer crown for a code which will provide an opportunity either to become millionaires or win other numerous airtime and cash prizes. Let's head to the stock market. It has ended the last trading day before the Christmas break midly negative on the back of profit taking from GT Bank, UBA and Lafarge Africa. Let's hear the closing numbers from Chimezie Obiwago.
Christmas, they say, is a time to give. And indeed, Santa Claus was at the market to do the needful. However, Santa chose Wednesday to surprise the equities market with his gifts when the all-share index crossed the 38,000 mark and the market capitalization hit the 20 trillion naira mark for the first time. That's a landmark achievement. The market traded half-day today because Santa had a flight to catch. So if you weren't at the market on Wednesday, perhaps you lost out. Today being the eve of Christmas, there was bargain hunting, all right, but the bargain hunting was balanced as there were no aggressive buyers and no aggressive sellers. And that's the reason for this marginal drop on the index. I cannot call it a bear market because it's not. The bull is still the winner. When you look at the week-to-date change, the market gained a whopping 5.4%. That's a huge Christmas gift in a pandemic. The major drag for today were mainly the banking and the industrial sectors. No thanks to Lafarge Wapco and GT Bank. Listen, it's been a remarkable year for the equities market. Investors in the market have every reason to be thankful, and so do all of us who have been privileged to see this year's Christmas. And so, I wish you a Merry Christmas. Be happy and be safe.
Meanwhile, it's mostly positive close for most of the world's leading stock markets after a thin holiday trading season. Investors and traders were earlier optimistic for a Brexit trade deal between Have a Merry Christmas.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Staying with the spirit of the season, more goodwill messages are coming on the occasion to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ. This time from the Christian Association of Nigeria. In a statement, the president of CAN, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, admitted the year has been a difficult one in the face of the loss of lives due to COVID-19 pandemic, terrorism, kidnappings, and other criminalities across the country. He, however, encourages citizens to remain strong and hopeful in view of the fact that Christmas is a celebration of joy, given that Jesus was also born during the darkest time in Israel's history, but brought humanity into a new relationship with God. He says Christmas is also a season to advocate peace in the world and prayed God to help our governments to stop the menace of insecurity. He also prayed for the comfort of the Lord for all those who lost their lives and for one reason or the other. Celebrations are expected to be low-key this year as many take steps to keep safe from COVID-19 while observing the Yuletide. This cautiousness has in turn affected some of the activities in the build-up to the festivities, including the usual Christmas decorations in the city of Lagos. Our next report takes a look at the level of decorations heralding Christmas this year.
A number of things have become synonymous with Christmas, and one of them is the various Christmas decorations. In recent years, strategic places in Lagos showcase beautifully and creatively conceived decorations as millions of tiny light bulbs combine to improve the mood for the festivities. This year, no thanks to COVID-19 pandemic, the merriment around the celebration have been toned down, so much so that a good number of regular decoration spots have lost their mojos. Chief of them is the usual magnum opus at the Ajosin Adeogun roundabout on Victoria Island. The entire road that usually transforms into a Christmas park, sort of, with beautiful decorations and Christmas memorabilia, now stands as it would on another regular day and season.
Ajosin Adeogun roundabout is a place where seasons like this, you have decoration everywhere. You see the mood that really the year is coming to an end and happiness everywhere, joy everywhere. But since COVID-19 came, that is why this place is like this. Formerly, before, you see this place decorated and you see people blowing knockouts, banger, you see happiness everywhere. But now, because of COVID-19, everything has changed. It's not as before again.
Sources from the corporate entity that has been responsible for the decorations over the years confirmed that the decision to not decorate is made inevitable by the pandemic and an attempt to not encourage large gatherings of people. Just around the corner, however, a shipload of Santa Claus berths in an attempt to save Christmas. While decorations are definitely a bit far in between this year, some other notable places retain their bright looks, including the Falomo roundabout in Ikoyi and the Mobolaji Bank Anthony stretch in Ikeja.
Trying to save Christmas. Still ahead on the news at 10, the UK and EU agrees to a historic trade deal following talks that had been deadlocked for months. Stay with us. Welcome back. The UK and the European Union have reached a deal on their post-Brexit trade relations. They came with only a week to go before the Brexit transition period ends on December 31st. The historic deal will mean zero tariffs and zero quotas and would mean Britain has taken back control of its money, borders, laws, trade and fishing waters.
Very pleased to tell you this afternoon that we have completed the biggest trade deal yet, worth £660 billion a year, a comprehensive Canada-style free trade deal between the UK and the EU, a deal that will protect jobs across this country, a deal that will allow goods, UK goods and components to be sold without tariffs and without quotas in the EU market, a deal which will, if anything, allow our companies and our exporters to do even more business with our European friends, and yet which achieves something that the people of this country instinctively knew was doable, but which they were told was impossible. We've taken back control of our laws and our destiny. We've taken back control of every jot and tittle of our regulation in a way that is complete and unfettered. From January the 1st, we are outside the customs union and outside the single market. British laws will be made solely by the British Parliament, interpreted by UK judges sitting in UK courts, and the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice will come to an end.
Thank you, Simon. Hello and welcome to Sports News. The league management company has granted temporary approval to 7 stadia to host matches of the Nigeria Professional Football League. They are the Agege Stadium in Lagos, Dan Anyam Stadium in Owerri, New Jos Stadium, and the Lafia Township Stadium. Others are Ifeanyi Stadium in Nnewi, Akure Township Stadium, and the Delta State Polytechnic Stadium. According to the LMC, the listed stadia were granted provisional approval following an upgrade of their facilities to meet its standard. The 2020-2021 Nigeria Professional Football League is scheduled to begin on Sunday, December the 27th. Africa has been allocated 6 slots for the FIFA 2023 Women's World Cup to be jointly hosted by Australia and New Zealand. According to the World Football Governing Body, 4 automatic slots will emerge from the 2022 Africa Women's Cup of Nations, while the remaining 2 slots will emerge from a 10 playoff tournament. The playoff tournament will be used as a test event for the Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. And that's it on Sports News. Amarachi, back to you.
Thanks, Olumide. And on a programming note, your multiple award-winning Channels Television will be hosting a special Sunrise Daily Christmas program on Christmas Day. That's tomorrow, Friday, December 25th. It's loaded with entertainment, including a comedy segment. You don't want to miss that. Join our team of anchors from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And the main news again. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 today warned Nigerians to be more cautious in the wake of the new strain of COVID-19. The PTS said henceforth it will ensure that passengers from UK and South Africa present travel permits before entry. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Good night, a Merry Christmas, and stay safe.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone. Welcome to a special Christmas edition of Entertainment News. I'm Akaite Afia, and coming up on the program today, we bring you highlights from the grand finale of the maiden edition of Dance Boss Challenge, organized by popular choreographer Kafi. Nollywood drama Autophobia premieres in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. Plus, we take you to the Christmas premiere of Pixar's latest film, Soul. We have the details on these stories, plus so much more coming right up, so stay tuned. Although events and festivities have been toned down, the Christmas spirit is still very much alive this holiday. So welcome again to another holiday edition of the program. As we run through this episode, we'll be bringing you messages from some of your favorite celebrities, so keep an eye out.
I love Christmas. My late parents always celebrated Christmas. It was always a time for family to gather, and we shall do so again this year, not in the way we did the year before because of the pandemic, but the family will still come together, you know, even if it's and try and find, you know, just remember the importance of Christmas. It's family time. It's a time when our Lord Jesus Christ was born. It's a time when God gave, you know, so it's a time of giving. But it's not necessarily a time for commercialization, but it is a time for giving and a time for family.
Now over to Nollywood, where Stephanie Phillips' vision of a story of a young woman struggling to realize her worth, who stays in an abusive relationship that just may cost her everything, comes to life as Autophobia premieres in Lagos, Nigeria.
Just in time for the holidays, the Stephanie Phillips executive produced and Adeni Ademola directed film Autophobia premieres right here in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria.
The reason why I took up this role is more than just a movie. It's a personal experience for me. IED, domestic violence, is a personal experience, so it would have been well delivered by someone that had a foresight into what it is about, basically. Level of response, I'm actually satisfied. Everybody is like, oh, something like that exists. So it means that everybody was very, very clueless. This film is showing a whole lot of insight and light to these things that can actually be avoided or helped. The right medications and therapy and talk and everything with the right help, like, you can be cured. So why wait for there to be a homicide? Because according to research, domestic violence tripled this period, this lockdown period especially. So when all these things can be avoided, why not? So this movie actually gave everybody an insight and telling everybody, oh, okay, this and this and this is what can be done, this and this is how we can help, and this and this is what we're doing to change the world in a very little way.
Hey, look at you. Trust your wow.
The Nollywood drama stars Ngozi Nwosu as Mrs. Anosike and Joseph Momodu as Ikemefuna.
This is a day-to-day occurrence in some homes. So I think it is the real time. The time is now, and it is left for us to go out there and watch and know that mental illness is true, is real. Sometimes it's not everything that we drink Panadol on top. Some things require more than Panadol, and it takes only when you notice yourself. We need to study our behaviors at times. We need to sit back and relax. This thing I'm doing, am I doing it right, or there's more that meets the eye in it? So it's not a thing of, oh, okay, you're sad, you're this, and you feel, okay, I'm all right, I don't have any mental, because normally we think mental illness is only meant for mad people. That's our belief, but that's not the case. A lot of things could cause mental illness, so we need to be on the watch out.
Autophobia is defined as the fear of being lonely, which is fitting as the film tells the story of a young model who endures an abusive marriage due to her immense fear of ending up unloved and forever alone.
What do you mean you don't understand? Since when did you start preparing two different dishes? As what? What's going on? Is there a naming ceremony? Eh? Oh, okay. Because you're not the one providing the money, you feel you can waste food anyhow.
What's going on? Kimefuna?
You're calling me by my name? So, no more respect, no regard in my house, in my presence. You're calling me by my name.
The cast includes Omar Tamufe, Caroline Igben, Stephanie Phillips, Leonardo Tega Igor, Bella Ike, and more.
What I learned is no matter what, we should protect our mental health. And like the movie teaches, autophobia, a lot of people have a lot of psychological diseases, and they don't even know that they have it. For example, Ikemefuna, that's Ikemefuna on set in the movie Autophobia, he didn't know that he had IED, intermittent explosive disorder, which means he was always flaring up at the slightest provocation. So he didn't even know. And there are a lot of people who have this problem without them even knowing. So that's why this movie is out there to enlighten the public, so that we all know this and then we can get help.
Actually, the interest was never there at the beginning when I got the script. But as an actor, I had to look for a way on how to interpret it. What I did was actually I called some persons who are also part of this these things happen to people real. I called some persons who have the same experience, and they gave me the insight on how to do it, and I fell in love with the character, and that's how I loved the character before coming up to act. And
following the successful premiere, the cast and crew shared their gratitude with the audience.
Hey guys, I want to wish everybody that has survived 2020 a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2021 ahead. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for just being you and being alive and keeping safe. God bless you. See you all next year.
I'll say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of you. We survived 2020. We're here, and we're here for a reason, and it means that the grace of God was with us. So moving forward, please do everything in your power to boost your immunity. Stay safe, stay healthy, drink a lot of water, take a lot of vitamins, wear your nose masks, always have your nose masks, wear your nose mask, social distance, and work out.
Having spent 2 decades in the dance industry, Guinness Book of Records winner for Long Dance Party in a year, 2006, Kathy launched a Dance Boss Challenge.